Hello, my lovelies. Welcome to Lady McCreepster's Night Noise Horror Podcast. Today's tale comes from author Inkj0Y and is aptly about New Year's resolutions and how they can go so terribly wrong. So come now, my dears. Lean in closer and we'll begin. You don't look like the type of person to play sports. I stared at my friend Amanda, half biting down on the ham sandwich that my mother had made me in the morning. My small can of Pepsi was fizzing in the background annoyingly, making this sudden conversation all the more awkward. I don't, but when I'm bored, I do like to kick a ball around. Some breadcrumbs exited my mouth, falling out onto my lap. I sheepishly wiped the stains around my lips, swiping the puddles of broken bread off my kneecaps. I mean, I just haven't seen you in any sports teams at school, and I was wondering why. She bit her lip and sighed. It reminded me of what my mom would do when I told her I did something wrong, or asked her a ridiculous question. With that information, I tended to feel hurt when the person I was talking to resorted to that god-awful tick. I shrugged my shoulders. Sports has always been a casual thing for me. I hate getting riled up with all that competitive bullshit. I stuffed the last of my lunch into the crevices of my mouth and digested the meal. Amanda picked at her nails, not at all satisfied with my forward answer, but I was too distracted to care. A senior boy was bending over to pick up his water bottle, and his butt was hanging in the air like a birthday piñata. She picked her lunch bag up and took out her phone. "I'll see you at 5th. She looked up thoughtfully. "Hope you join a sports team soon." And with that, she was gone. I packed up my food and threw my soft drink can into the trash. It bounced off the rim of the trash can and smacked onto the hard floor. I sheepishly scuttled over and picked up the bent piece of metal. Once again, I lobbed the can at a centimeter distance, only to miss the target the second time. Frustrated, I sulked away to my 4th period class. You can call me a litterbug, but that's not going to make my throwing aim any better. I've never been the best or even slightly good at any physical sports in my life, part of it because of dedication and the rest because of my weight. I'm not extremely fat or anything, but I definitely don't look like some little orange shrimp in the Pacific Ocean either. I've always been that happy-go-lucky girl that yells in the hallways and volunteers to do announcements in the lazy Monday mornings. It's been kind of difficult for me to attract any boys to my personality, because all they care about is looks these days. Don't get me wrong, I have no personal vendetta against those who look prettier than me, but I just wish someone would look deeper. People hardly recognize conversation as an essential social device. It's all about the clothes and appearance in my school. Now that I think of it, I've always been the fat girl in class. Since kindergarten, my classmates have referred to me as Big Mary or any other creative nicknames involving a size description and my name. Being the soft person I was back then, I was fine with it, and I still am. I'm alright with the amount of weight that clings to my belly as long as I'm allowed to eat whatever I wish. After school that day, I headed home to my little shack, adjacent to most of the confectionaries that surrounded my area. My parents had left me in an NYC train station when I was only a month old, making it hard for me to find an actual house. Rent's kinda hard to pay off when you're only a year in the making. Jokes aside, after my parents abandoned me, I was placed into the custody of a couple of old folks who had never had children. They were really friendly and took great care of me, but I can hardly remember those years, because when I turned 8, they died in a car crash. In that period of time, I moved between foster care and orphanages, amassing a lot of weight from the sheer amount of junk food I ate. I finally settled in a nice bungalow beside Martin Grove High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, with another elderly couple by the names of Charles and Martha. They'd stay in their couches all day, and I'd cook them lunch, breakfast, and dinner when Martha was too busy sleeping. To be honest, I don't think they wanted a kid, and only took me to make some noise in their dull house. Sadly, these days I barely see them around the house, only greeting them occasionally when they're in bright spirits. I don't want to point any fingers, but part of the reason that I'm so overweight and unhealthy is the fact that there's no one to tell me to stop. It's all on me when it comes to decision making, and my perseverance is a bit lackluster. I entered my room and sat on my flatbed, contemplating various thoughts in my head that were actually pointless to think about. Dozens of candy wrappers and chip bags were scattered across the floor, making my room seem like an aquarium of shiny tropical organisms. I opened up my laptop to check my email and recent messages, just in case someone was requesting for me. After all, today was New Year's Eve. A pretty tragic one for me. I scanned through my scanty amount of direct messages, finding nothing but spam from internet trolls. There was absolutely no mentioning of any meeting or party that I was invited to. Even Amanda had failed to contact me through the internet, and she'd promised to voice chat me the details of her night. This had been a yearly tradition of us girls, and we'd spend our hours from 8 to 12 talking about life, getting ready for the coming year. I was kind of disappointed that she had failed to commit to her end of the promise, and her mistake left me with nothing to do that night. Rifling through the last pieces of spam in my inbox, I stumbled across a letter addressed to me from a large sender. Feeling a bit sad? The new year might be your solution. I eyed the message suspiciously, checking for any hidden jokes, just in case I was being targeted by anyone I knew in school. If that was the case, I wouldn't be too surprised, because my weight was a pretty hot topic for some of the scumbags who were in my classes. We've all been there before, that little place called self-consciousness. It really sucks, but it's much worse if we've been there and can't get out. I chuckled at the sheer stupidity of the paragraph. Take the new year of 2019 and make it the one that you'll never forget. Make a resolution. It's up to you. P.S. Send your self-made resolutions to this email and we'll make your wishes come true. I smiled and deleted the email. Despite it cheering me up and reminding me to make promises for 2019, the letter was staining my clean storage space. Moreover, the sender was unknown, which added to my suspicion that it was distributed by an internet troll. I sighed and turned off the lights in my room, plunging myself into darkness. The screen of my analog clock displayed a bright time, reminding me of my complete New Year's flop. I guess the loneliness made me feel sad, so I knocked on my reading lamp and searched for my laptop. The time on the clock read 11:41. I opened up my email and headed straight for the garbage bin, dead set on restoring the message that I had deleted earlier. I added the sender to my contacts list, getting ready to send my own little message. Boredom and depression really does make people go crazy. I typed as fast as possible, weaving up a message related to my New Year's resolution. I don't know who you are, how you know I'm fat, and why you think this is funny, but because I have nothing else to do, I'll respond. I've been really round across the edges since I was born, and I'm quite lazy when it comes to losing weight. I hope this new year, the year of 2019, I can drop a few calories and eat healthier. Also, I've been pretty empty, happiness-wise, these past few days. Yeah, That's it. Taking a deep breath, I sent the message. The time was now 11:59. And with that, I snuck back into my bed. That all happened the day before yesterday. A flash of events in a blink of an eye. I couldn't possibly fathom what would happen to me the next day. I woke up feeling so much lighter than I should have or could have been. It was like I could pick myself up with a breeze of air and go off to fly into the blue sky. It was hard for me to get out of bed, my feet not being able to plant themselves firmly on the ground. I waddled over to my weight scale, getting ready for the biggest scare in my life. 150 pounds. I stepped off, confused at the numbers displayed on the stupid circle. Just a week ago, when I measured myself, I was perching at a fat 200 pounds across my body, and it was an all-time high for me. I groped my legs and my arms, unsure why I was weighing 50 pounds less after only a week. And in that week, I had barely done anything much. My skin felt much more plushier than before, kind of like a stuffed toy you'd find at Mastermind. I was terrified at first. I thought someone had done something to me while I was sleeping, so I was about to phone the police. Then I realized something. I was less fat now. Under normal circumstances, I would have jumped into the air, pumping my fists like a crazed animal. However, this change had come too fast, too unexpectedly. I wasn't sure what to think of this. I spent the whole day yesterday trying out my new body shape, converting myself to a whole new person. To be quite honest, although it was really weird for me, I was beginning to ease into this interesting evolution of my body. I didn't want to tell anyone else, and it was easy for me to keep a secret because my guardians, as you know, were too busy sleeping or playing bingo. Then I woke up today, the second day of the new year, and I weighed 140 pounds. I could feel the fat slipping from my body the moment I relapsed back into the human world. When I wished for weight loss, I had meant for it to be natural, something that I could achieve myself. I'm not complaining though. The convenience has made it easier, but it truly scares me. The weight I lose is not actually being taken from my body. It's being sucked out, leaving me like a hollow toy. I feel like the meat inside me is evaporating, emptying my organs. I don't know what to do. I guess the last thing I need to put out there is the response I got from the unknown sender just a few minutes ago. It's better to be empty than to feel empty. You'll get used to it. Thank you for joining me this evening, my dears. To my dark family on Patreon, there will be another story released just for you later this week on my Patreon page. If you would like to join my dark family on Patreon and get Patreon-only exclusives, as well as potentially be eligible for discounts on Lady McCreepster merchandise, go to patreon.com/Lady McCreepster for details. That's all I have for you this evening, my dears. Till next time, sweet dreams.